Welcome to Mark Arnold's Finance. Today I want to talk about Microsoft. Now, we all know it's a quality company, has great financials, but I think this company is about to get much stronger. So I want to share with you why I think that. I think a lot of investors will look at just the numbers, which are strong, but it's always important to look outside of that, outside the box, and that's what we're going to do today. Now, before I get started, if you're new to this channel, be sure to subscribe. I'm somebody that is very transparent. I provide diverse quality content, and I feel that's not what a lot of YouTubers do. I think a lot of YouTubers will put out their content, buy this stock, do this with your portfolio, but they don't even show their own. I show my own on this channel. So if you do appreciate that, be sure to subscribe. And let's actually look at that right now as promised. So we will see here that actually, I share the good and the bad on this channel. Right now, it is not looking good. I am in the most red I've ever been, and that's almost at a negative 11% growth, shall we say decline, and that means over $5,000 in unrealized losses currently. So yes, this stock market, this economy continues to downtrend. Now let me take your eyes down to Microsoft. Microsoft is one that I thought I would never be in the red with. I thought I had a low cost average, but look at this. I am down 5.28%. So this is why I want to talk about Microsoft today, because I do think this is a very attractive buy right now, and I'm going to tell you why starting right now. So Microsoft, as we know, they have their Office suite products. They're big into gaming with their Xbox. They have Azure with the cloud. They have their own VR, AI side of things, and so much more. This company has a huge moat, and it's been a great investment for many, many decades. And I think going forward, it will be the same because of its partnerships and collaborations it's been doing. I also want to mention at the end, one reason why you don't go up against Microsoft. I'm going to use an example. So speaking of partnerships and collaborations, there's some big names partnering with Microsoft. And there's been a lot of, collaborations and partnerships in the past, but I'm just going to talk about the most recent ones. But if you look at the history of what Microsoft has done as far as partnerships and collaborations, it's mind-blowing. Really big names to really small names. But the first one I want to mention is one that may be a surprise to you, but they do have a partnership with Meta, and they're expanding that partnership as we speak. Microsoft goes Meta is what this headline says, and it says, here's what Nadella and Zuckerberg announced for the new Quest Pro. So Microsoft will make Windows, Office, Teams, and other programs available for the new Meta Quest Pro and existing Meta Quest 2 VR headsets under an expanded partnership with Meta. So as you know, and if you didn't, but Meta just released their new Quest Pro, which is a $1,500 device. It's supposed to have cool things like have cameras looking inward so it can look at your eye movement and face movement and deploy that onto and into the metaverse. Now their Quest 2, I believe, is much cheaper at $400, and I have used it, and it's really cool, so I can't imagine what this new device does. But this partnership will allow the use of Meta's headset for Teams meetings, so this could go into the business world, obviously, and you can enter into workrooms. So think of like you're walking into a meeting, and you can have avatars that move and draw on whiteboards. It seems really cool. But because I'm a nerd, I'm an accountant, the really cool thing is they said you'll be able to use Excel in the metaverse with these VR headsets. And to use Microsoft's Excel in the metaverse would be a whole new level of an experience for this accountant, and I can only imagine what that would be like. So that's pretty cool. Now, they're also bringing Xbox games to the Meta Quest store. So what I will say about this partnership is it's very obvious that this is really more in the benefit of Meta because they've been a struggling company and they're trying to get their new metaverse VR headset kind of AI side of things launched because their social media side has slowed down. And so this has been a great thing for Meta, but don't sleep on it on Microsoft's end. This is going to be huge for them. This is going to allow them to integrate into what they feel and believe will be a huge future. And with Meta having such a huge social media base, I think this thing will blow up eventually into so many users using the Meta headsets, and being able to utilize and access Microsoft products is just going to be a win-win. So that's one partnership that I think is going to heavily create a positive benefit for Microsoft. Also, Meta 2, and I'm bullish on Meta. I'll make another video about that because I think there's some other things recently that I want to mention. But let's move into the next partnership. And this one is with the huge stock and company that is Apple. Yes, Apple and Microsoft are partnering up. And what I will say about this, you'll see in this headline, it says Apple brings more of its services, including iCloud and Apple Music, to Microsoft platforms. So Microsoft did announce that it's integrating Apple iCloud storage service with the Photos app in Windows 11. So that will allow users to, with Windows devices, to be able to see their iPhotos and videos. So again, we have two huge companies. Now, Microsoft is big on the PC end, so personal computer, and Apple is more on the mobile devices, right? The iPhones. And you also have Microsoft, which is huge with businesses, right? Their Office products. And you have Apple that's huge with individual non-business users like you and I. So you have two huge companies with two different operating systems that are now trying to make this a seamless connection. And as many people who probably have both the Windows PC products and the Apple iPhone products, to be able to integrate those seamlessly is going to be great, because it can be very challenging and frustrating when you try to do that currently. So they're removing barriers, they're making it seamless, and they said that this is just the beginning. So this is pretty incredible in my opinion. Now on Xbox, you can access your iPhone pics, your videos, your Apple Music, and Apple TV. Some of these you already can, some of these announced that they will be available in the future. So again, you have these two large companies with two large customer pools, and they're going to create a path between those pools to make things more seamless. So this is going to benefit both companies in a massive way, but I think Microsoft, in my opinion, is the stronger company, because I feel they have more of their recurring revenue with businesses, which is a more sticky product because it's not as easy to switch as a business, having integrated it into all your processes, as with, say, a customer like myself. I can, yep, I'll switch from an Apple to an Android now. It's much harder on the business side of things. So I think Microsoft is a stronger company, and this is a great thing for Apple, obviously, but Microsoft is also going to be benefiting. So I do think it's, again, Microsoft coming to the rescue for another company, helping it in a massive way. So we have Meta and Apple. Now I want to move to a smaller company just to give you an example of something a little different. So Microsoft is partnering up with a small company called Halion. Now Halion and Microsoft intend to make health products more accessible via AI technology. Now Halion is a consumer health company, and this is a collaboration to enhance health accessibility for people who are blind, have low vision, or have difficulty reading product labels due to low literacy. So Microsoft has an app, and this is, again, something that I always am learning something new about Microsoft. They have such a wide moat, but they have an app called Seeing AI, and this helps narrate the world around them, around people that have these vision impairments. So with Halion, with this Microsoft app and then partnering up, it's going to allow you to scan a Halion product, and it's going to auto-read information on that product. So I just think that is super cool and awesome, and just showing you where Microsoft is expanding its moat in another area. Now let's move on to another partnership that's going on. So this one is with a company called Cisco. So they are more on the equipment and devices side of things, and they're a large company themselves. I actually hold this one in my portfolio as well, and I'm adding to it. I think it's has a good future prospect, but we can talk about that in another video. But it says here, Cisco Systems announces partnership with Microsoft. And you know this is a huge benefit for Cisco, and they're very excited about it. So Cisco Systems recently announced this partnership, which will bring Microsoft Teams to the former's meeting room devices. So of course, Cisco is all about devices. So to bring more of the Microsoft side of things to their devices is just going to be gold for this company, and another example of Microsoft just expanding its dominance. So now I want to say this. There's a lot more partnerships we can go over, but I wanted to mention those ones because those are the most recent ones. But you can look back and research it yourself, and there's other partnerships they have with huge companies as well, outside of Meta, outside of Apple, and then many, many, many small ones like Halion. And Cisco is a medium company, shall we say. So now I want to tell you why you don't mess with Microsoft. They have a history of showing that if you go up against them, they're just going to take you out. So Microsoft launches its own kind of designer tool. So that's what Canva is. It's kind of like Figma. And we know Adobe's trying to buy out Figma. But what Microsoft is doing is they're saying, hey, we're just going to make our own. And so Microsoft is aiming its designer graphic design app at consumers, but it's possible the company could move the focus to enterprises where it gets more office business. Regardless, this service could represent an alternative to privately held Canva, which announced a document tool last month. Now, this last point I think is very important. It says, but Canva isn't competing against Microsoft, a co-founder of the Australian startup said. Basically, Canva is sweating right now. They have a reason to be sweating because what Microsoft can do here is they can release this designer app as part of their package office deal and make it free because they can afford to do that. And they can really just take out Canva. And because what are companies going to do? Pay for Canva and also be paying for Microsoft, which can provide something very similar? You bet you they're going to just probably drop Canva and say, let's utilize Microsoft since we're paying for it anyways and we don't have to pay anything extra for it. We might as well do that. And so Microsoft has a history of doing this, right? Taking out the competition, both big and small, and that's what they're doing with Canva. So with that said, that's us looking outside the box. And that to me is showing how strong Microsoft is, that all these companies are coming to them to kind of help themselves expand their own moats, their own growth and profitability. And Microsoft to me reigns king. And I think they're strong, but they're going to be getting extremely stronger with all these other areas that they are getting into. So now let's get into the box and look at their financial data because I think it's very important as well. We just looked outside the box. Now let's look inside of it. So I keep a metrics chart with all my companies. So this is Microsoft. And maybe I'll show on another video all the other companies, but anything in green is a high deviation in the positive against the industry average, what Microsoft is in. If there's anything in red, it'd be highly in the negative compared to industry averages. So Microsoft is the strongest company in my portfolio when I filled out this metrics chart for all my companies. And we'll see here, it's got a very attractive PE ratio currently compared to the industry average, strong EPS earnings, strong return on equity. This company has great numbers and everything else is in line, meaning it's just slightly above or below the industry average. And what I'll say is a lot of companies right now are filled with red. If I showed this for the rest of my companies, there's a lot of red. A lot of companies are not doing well compared to the industry average, but Microsoft is one of the ones that is on top and above its peers. Their PE ratio is very attractive. It's at a 23.69 currently, and its 5-year average is about a 33. It's growing its earnings per share, it's growing its revenue at a healthy rate and its earnings, it's growing its cash flow at a healthy rate, its dividend growth and payout ratio and yield are all great right now. Now to get a yield over 1% with Microsoft I think is a great opportunity. Its total debt to assets is low, its gross margins are great, its return on equity far outpaces the industry average. Its shares outstanding are going down, and it's at a market cap of 1.75 trillion right now, and I think this is a company that deserves to be at a 2.5 trillion market cap. So numbers look fantastic. What it's doing outside the numbers looks fantastic. So I think this company is one that other companies look up to and strive to partner with and collab with, because that's just going to help their company, and that says a lot about Microsoft. So with Microsoft being at $228 per share at the 23 point whatever PE ratio, this is where I think Microsoft is a strong buy. I think anything below a 30 PE for Microsoft is absolutely a strong buy. This is my opinion, of course. And so what that means is anything below $290 per share is where I will be buying heavily in this company. When it gets above that, I will stop, but I have a goal in mind that I want to get to with this company. I want to get at least $10,000 worth, and I'm 60% of the way there right now. So I hope it stays kind of depressed and down for a while so I can get up to that point, because long term, what they're doing with all these partnerships and collaborations are just going to help it on top of its other successful areas and dominant areas. And I think this is just a no-brainer for me. It's a strong buy. And so let me know what you think about Microsoft. Do you hold it? Do you think it's a strong buy right now? Or at what price point would you be willing to buy into it or buy up to? And again, I'll be buying the stock all the way up to $290 per share because that's where I feel it's undervalued. So with that said, I'd love to hear all your opinions about this video. I think it's very fascinating to see Microsoft and how they're just digging their roots in deeper and wider, and it just solidifies for me my investment in Microsoft, and I'm a very happy holder. Regardless if it goes further in the red or not, I will just be adding more heavily. So with that said, have a great day, everyone. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on Mark Arnold's Finance. Have a great day.